Are you in charge of this shindig?
I'm trying to. Yep. I'm doing the technical work.
Okay, for the Filipino chamber, are you like the chairperson or
I'm
the
a biker.
contacting
Yep.
individual? Okay. I have been ordered to get info from you guys.
Okay. Okay.
Almost, if she didn't have to leave today, I almost probably stopped her. She was here for a meeting this morning, but she's going back to LA today. They're going back down to Honda to my director's from, and she's going to fly out to LAX tomorrow morning. But I almost brought my person.
Oh, God. That would have been awesome.
She is aging.
Okay. So,
Sammy calls my manager's Chris Curry, and our director's Amy Collins, from South Texas. And then Gail Kadama is her vice president. And she was here this morning for me. And she said, I went back and said, you mean Foxwood? I'm big with this. I didn't talk to y'all, but I'm supposed to go to the picture tonight. What is it? He said, Elmo is an American. Yeah, what's that? He said, we got to go right down to the valley after this. And Gail flies out behind. And Gail's like, I'll go ahead.
well, maybe next time I get that would have been awesome. Man, that would have been awesome. There you go. Yep. Yep. Oh, yeah, we need to hook her up. Okay, let me just.
I've been instructed to get information because Amy will sign us up.
Okay. As a
member.
Okay. Well, as a corporate person? Awesome. All right, good deal. Okay. All right. Yep, that's good to hear. Let me just get set up here. All right, thank you.
Jim, ito ba yung attendance?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, the problem is this. Yeah, well, I think it's connected there, and then I have the.
Matt, you have that thing? What do you call this?
Okay, so
Okay, no, I
that's
guess.
maybe,
Okay, let me
that might
just-
be a problem because I'm using this to stream.
Okay, let me just go back to. You have.
Yeah, I'm using this to stream. That's the thing. I can't use this.
Well, if you had that.
Well, it's
not
connected
the same.
there. That's what we'll do. Is this online or is where's your presentation?
It's online. I mean, it's also right here.
But is it okay? But is it can it be accessed by this laptop?
Yeah, I can send it to you.
Well, this isn't mine.
What?
This isn't mine. This is China. Yeah. So we can ask.
Oh, what is Wi-Fi?
Oh,
That's long, you remember?
no, I'm trying to remember. I think so.
Nope. Do you want me to ask
No,
them?
it's sweet. We can ask her.
Or so,
Oh, sweet. Oh, trying to remember the last. Yep, you're on.
okay. So, do you know the email address of that?
Hold on.
What's her name again? The one that name?
Angelica. Yeah, she's up there.
Curious about private market investing? Get started with
Okay.
short-term notes. It's a top pick amongst first.
नमस्कार दोस्तों, कैसे हैं आप सब? मैं आशा करता हूँ आप सब बहुत अच्छे से होंगे। मैं स्विच तो आज का वीडियो आपके लिए है और यहाँ पर आप देख रहे हैं क्या सेटिंग करनी होगी। तो यहाँ पर एक सबसे ऊपर वाला ऑप्शन आता है स्ट्रीम का और यहाँ पर मैं एडिट के बटन पर क्लिक कर देता हूँ क्योंकि मैंने पहले ये सारी सेटिंग आप यहाँ पर कर लीजिए। कैटेगरी है, थंबनेल है, वो सारा कुछ जैसे आप जानते होंगे उस तरह से आपको सेम की को हमें अपने ब्रॉडकास्टिंग सॉफ्टवेयर में ले जाके पेस्ट करना है।
How do I know is this one? So this is not your email.
No. Well, no, that's great. No, I don't think. Did you send it here?
The email she sent it, she gave to me. Is that her?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's. I don't know. It's click on the email.
Do you know the email is right here? This is the one?
Yeah, this is her outlet. I don't know. This is. I know, but I can't.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I can't use my laptop.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to open her.
Whose is that?
This is. It's her.
Angelica? Oh. You wanna ask her? There's so many.
Yeah, this is from. You just sent it, right? So it's-
Yeah, you may not go through yet because it's pretty big. She has a lot.
Yeah, but this is this email. So I don't know if it's. Yeah, but that's. Yeah, but this is D. Guzman. It's not.
Okay,
No,
that's not.
that's not.
Okay.
Oh, the what?
She said she's gonna come here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. How many number you have?
Yeah.
But you know you didn't make it.
I know. Oh, we did?
Darn
Oh.
it! Darn it! I'm
Right.
here.
Oh.
Oh, again. I know.
We'll make a very special one.
A special one for you.
Yep, right here.
Not here.
I thought, wait, didn't we create this? No, I think we, yeah, no, it's, I'm pretty sure we have one. Can you check? Hey, Brian. You remember Yomi, right? Yomi and Brian. So we have a real estate right here, right? So So what are you looking for? Oh, Any bankers in here? Any more realtors? It's like 6 already.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, so we have to. So we can also take the. Yeah. So before you do that, okay. And then,
Was it 2 emails? Yeah, I'll send it to you.
all right, very good.
Okay, thank you.
I'll do it.
When I open it, Word, let me just send you a broker. Buenas
Okay, just
Yeah, I have to move. Yeah.
Just, yeah, so what? So
Okay.
the what?
I have a.
Oh, okay.
You can minimize that.
Testing, testing. Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, we're live.
That's the other one and the other one. Right now, we're in something because I don't have pieces, so I have no idea where to touch. So shall I insert it in?
Huh?
Insert the. Whatever you see, there you see.
Yep. That's it. Yep, that's it. There you go.
Hello?
Okay.
Yes,
Just-
thank
just
you.
Go ahead and keep that, and then
Okay.
keep this too.
Which one?
Sorry.
That one for the not charging.
So where do you want to, are you going to be there, or do you want to be here?
I
Where do
don't
you
know. Three of us can sit right there. What do we do? I have no idea. What do you do?
Well, so who's going to be talking?
Me. So I have to be sitting here.
Oh, okay. So you want to just sit here and talk from here? Okay, so why don't we do this? Let's.
Separately or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you want? Okay, so I probably should focus on that, right? Trying to make this work. Okay, so first, because I'll have to take some time. Okay.
Let's have Edmund then. Would you like to try? Can you hear me? What do you guys want to do? Good evening, everyone. I'm Yoli Moy. I'm the board secretary now of the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce, Central Texas region. I used to be I'm the immediate past chair. I was region chair 2020 2021. Okay, tonight we're going to do, first of all, I'd like to thank all of you for coming tonight for our real estate networking. We do this every month. We started last June. Okay, so for tonight we have our real estate experts, Rod Rodriguez and Yan Yan, and then we have our banker, Ms. Jennifer Aquino. They will talk about the real estate world. Okay, the first speaker is Yan Yan. Okay, Yan Yan is the president of the San Antonio Asian Real Estate Association, and she's also the broker of real brokerage. Yes, she's a commercial, both a commercial and residential realtor. Without any further ado, I'd like to present to you Ms. Yan Yan.
I don't have a presentation slides, so I'm going to sit right here instead. My name is Yan Yan. I am the president of Asian Real Estate Association of America San Antonio chapter, and also I am the president-elect of Asian Chamber of Commerce. I handle a lot of residential and commercial transactions. In fact, I have two more commercial, 70% commercial. But Joey asked me to find out, talk about residential market. So here I am. Okay, so let's take a look at the market stats. The left side is July 2021, and the right side is July 2022. Other side of the country, a lot of people saying the market is going down, and listing is less. Take a look at ours. New listing, this year we have 300 more than last year. We got 5,100 this year. Last year was 4,800. And the active listing, we got almost 3,000 more. And also the pending sales exactly the same. So the market is not slowing down in San Antonio. That's what I can tell you. And take a look at the rent. The corner, the middle part. For rent, the average rent price is was 1,700 last year. This year it's 1,900. 10% increase. And also the days on the market is only 2 days longer than last year. So this year the market is still very strong. What I see in the market right now is a $500,000 and higher market is going slower. There's price changes, not as much of a multiple offer like last year anymore, but $300,000 and lower, the market is still multiple offer. I tried to show a house to $270,000. We showed at noon, and in the afternoon, 3 p.m., we tried to make an offer, and the house is already under contract. So the housing market in $300,000 and less still very strong. And the only thing is there's fewer cash buyers. I think because of the market is interest rates going up, inflation going up. A lot of people doesn't want to use their cash anymore. Cash is king whenever the economy is tight. So when people doesn't know the future of the economy, so they hold on their cash. So there's fewer cash buyers in the market. And also last year and the year before, I do when I do a lot of listing. So I see a lot of people saying, buyer, they submit offer saying, we don't need inspection. We do not. We'll pay for title insurance. Most of the time in the past, it's the seller pays for title insurance. So last 2 years, we really get spoiled. Seller really gets spoiled. They don't need to pay anything. Like, we don't see those things anymore. So the no inspection purchase contract is kind of this year. And also the interest hike. Right now, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, already going to 30 years, going to 6%. So a lot of first-time home buyers, they cannot afford to buy houses anymore. So they are going to the rental market. That's why the rental market price for the rent, average price, last year 1,700, this year 1,900. So there's a price difference, and also because of the actually this is not updated slides. Let's see there. Anyway, I had a change, but I didn't send it. Anyway, there's 79 people moving to San Antonio every day. In Austin, there's 126 people moving to Austin every day. Moving to, there's also, of course, people moving out. And also the house value, residential market housing, from 2020 to 2021, the value increased 14%. From 2021 to 2022, increased 26% in San Antonio. But in Austin, it's 38%. A lot of, I wanted you to see this chart. The blue part is previous county, people moving from these counties to San Antonio and Buffalo area. The most people moving here is from Harris County, Houston. The second one is Travis County, Austin. And we always say, California are coming, they're taking over Texas, but they're not. They're number 9 moving in from California. Although we see a lot of California license plates on the street, but they're still not the most people moving to San Antonio from out of town. I mentioned the price increase for 26%. I guess everybody already have the property tax protest. The price value, look at the value of the market. So last year, July, 199,000 and below, it takes 16% of the whole all the houses on the market. But this year it only takes 8.5% because the price is going up. And let's take a look at 500,000 and more. Last year was 13.85%. This year is 19.5%. It's 4% increase. And San Antonio, the reason we're doing so well, we have a lot of our economy is very strong. The healthcare and bioscience are the key industry. Right now, economy impact is 29 billion, and so 1 of 6 people working in San Antonio are in healthcare and bioscience industry, and also aerospace, manufacturing, and information technology, new energy. All these are the driving the economy in San Antonio. The job gain mostly are positive. The payroll expanded an annual 5.5%, meaning we created this much job. It's in only 3 months, ending January. And see that the healthcare is taking 13.4%. And industry positive. A manufacturer, the percentage is job. Government also job. The employment growth, majority are non-farming employment. Compared with last year to this year, increased from 4.2% to 5.5%. And the biggest is still the healthcare, still one of the biggest. So most of the sector of the economy. So this year is growing than from last year's number. Unemployment rate. Texas is 4.7, San Antonio is 4.1, United States 3.8. Way still lower than average in Texas. Average private hourly wage in San Antonio is still comparatively low than Texas or states. That's why a lot of companies moving their offices right here because of the low. We're the one of the lowest electrical costs and labor costs, and of course land costs, property real estate costs. Here's because I specialize in restaurants. I call people right now are doing revenge dining. There's a lot of people are going out to eat more than the past 2 before pandemic because they're been sitting at home and they got collect money from PPP. So they're right now finally the life almost go back to pre-pandemic. So they're going out to eat a lot. The housing opportunity index If you see San Antonio, we're still pretty affordable. The share of the house sold in the metro area, median income household can afford increase from 54% to 59%. The reason I say that, and I agree with the number, because I talked to one of the USA executive. He said in order to hire people from up north, we don't have enough people that can take the job, so they have to hire from up north. Guess what? They have to pay those salaries compatible for New York, Los Angeles, in order to attract talent from those areas. So they have to pay higher and end up the income in this, the average income is going higher in San Antonio. The population growth, we are more than Texas average. So right here, we're at 1.4% in 2021, and we're increasing to 1.8. I cannot see the number right there. But it's higher than Texas average. Long story short, the interest rate really affecting the people's affordability for buying house. So the left side, this black area, I just put it right there, $100,000 for household income, and then they can pay down payment $60,000. At the last year, when the market interest rate is 2.75 or say 3. I just put a number there, 3.5%. They can afford to buy a house of $524,000. And as of yesterday, the interest rate going up to 6%, they only can afford for $435,000, almost $100,000 less. The mortgage also is almost $100,000 less than before. So the market's still strong. The market not gonna go down, but a lot of people cannot afford to buy what they would like, and because of the inventory is still very tight. So a lot of sellers, they do not want to, they're not sure where do they go, so they're holding out listing their house. So when a couple afford to buy $400,000 house last year, this year they only can afford to buy $300,000. And then on that, there's not many houses that they like. It's not used to be 400 compared to $100,000 difference. There are differences, from the age of the house, the area of the house, of course, the finish of the house. So a lot of people going back to rent, and then rebuyer went back to the rental market. They decided to renew their lease. They said they were going to wait until the interest rate goes down a little bit. And also, I want to show you this one. This is the survey San Antonio did in April 22nd this year. The cost of living issues affecting the people's income. And see, the most concern is the lack of high quality child care. And the second one is the cost of housing for mid and working class family. So this is, actually pretty bad. This is the not for San Antonio. This is for Texas. There's 36% of Texans are concerned about this increasing cost of life expenses. Anyway, long story short, market's still strong, but there are a lot of factors affecting the housing market. And take a look at this again. We still have a very strong market. The price is going up, and the median price last year is $298. We're talking about the house on the market. So this year is $340. It's a big jump right there. Okay, that's the end of my presentation. We have two other speakers. So you can ask questions when you are.
Thank you so much, and it was a very good one.
Go ahead and go to that. Go on.
Again, Yan Yan, thank you so much for your excellent presentation. Now for the next one, I'd like to call on on Jennifer Aquino. She's the Vice President of the PNC Bank. She's going to talk about mortgage banking.
Thank you for having me today. So I just want to first introduce myself. So I'm actually a commercial relationship manager with PNC. I'm not the vice president of PNC, not the whole thing, but I'm in our segment. I am a commercial relationship manager. So mainly what I do is I help companies with efficiency, growth, and security. Lending is one of the things that I help clients with, specifically commercial real estate lending. That's one of the things that I help them with. So maybe that's one thing that I want to discuss today. So there's two types of commercial real estate. There's an owner-occupied real estate, and there's an investment real estate. So it really, what determines that is, who will be occupying the property and what percentage of that property they will occupy. So based on that, financial institutions determine what type of loan they can extend to a business. Basically, there's two types of loan, commercial loans that businesses can take advantage of when they're purchasing a commercial real estate. There's a conventional loan and there's an SBA loan. So commercial real estate, conventional loan, I would compare that to your conventional residential mortgage. That's when you put in 20% equity injection. The loan can go up to 20 years or 25 years. It could be a fixed rate or a variable rate. There's also another type of loan, which is called the SBA loan, the Small Business Administration loan. So that's guaranteed by the government. The good thing about the loan, you could put in as little as 10% equity injection, and that could be amortized as long as 25 years. That can also be fixed or variable rate. We find it because the rate is increasing right now. We're in a rate increasing environment. Most of our customers are opting for a variable rate right now, with the hopes that, 5 or 7 years down the road, rate will go down and that'll be an opportunity for them to refinance. What else? I think I will echo what Yan said. We are still, San Antonio is in a very good economy. A lot of businesses are coming. A lot of businesses are investing in San Antonio. A lot of businesses are actually thriving. I will again echo Yan. Healthcare is one of them. Even during the pandemic, they've been very strong. Healthcare. What else? PNC, we always want to be a resource to, our customers, or that they don't have to bank with us. I'm actually a resource to my partners as well that are in this room. I partner with different lines of business in the bank. So that means, residential mortgage, that means personal banking, that means business banking, that means small business or SBA. So if you have any other questions, or if you are to come to me, I can certainly point you the right direction or right people to talk to. I know we are reserving questions at the end, but if you have anything pressing right now, I'd be open to answering those questions. I'm sorry? Yeah. So it's not that hard. It's not that hard. So, PNC, like many other banks, we're actually a preferred lender of SBA. So what that means is SBA have vetted our financial institution, and mostly, most big banks, they've been vetted by SBA to do SBA loans. So we pretty much know what they're looking for, what SBA wants us to put together. So they actually allowed us to, underwrite those things. It's not very hard. You speak to, an experienced banker, they can, point to the right. It's a little bit lengthier process than conventional, but rightly so, because it's backed by the federal government, so there's documentation and information that they would need versus a conventional. But I could tell you, banks are very favorable to do SBA because of the guarantee from the federal government. There are actually a lot of documentation. And that's actually true for conventional loans as well. But there are actually a lot of documentation. There's just additional paperwork that's SBA specific.
After the pandemic, have the banking system been strict with loans and all that?
You know what? That's a fair. So right now we're easing up. I think like every other organizations and businesses and companies, we too did become very cautious during the pandemic. But now things are easing up. Especially here in San Antonio, we're actually very open to doing projects. The right projects for businesses. Well, if you think of something, I'll be here today. Thank you very much.
Okay, the next one. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Now our next speaker is Rob Rodriguez from Verde Commercial. There you go.
I'm sorry, I didn't prepare a PowerPoint, but I brought my slide presentation here. So I'll go through this. My name is Rob Rodriguez. I'm the broker and managing partner for a local commercial real estate firm. We're 5-6 Happy Pirates ownership, and we focus on medium businesses, so real estate sales from $1 million to $10 million, and we do business brokerage, so $1 to $10 million of revenue for companies. So I'm here to really tell you how it really is out in that market. And you guys don't need the propaganda put from the San Antonio Board of Realtors to really know what's going on out there. First of all, the economy. Commercial real estate really follows two things. We follow the jobs report, right? Because more jobs, people need more space to have their employees. What we're at right now, we've got about 475,000 people entering the workforce in the last month. Normal job growth is about 75,000. So this is an incredible time. We've regained all the jobs from the pandemic. People are starting to come back to the work, but they're still not quite back into the office where they were prior to 2020. So we follow that. We also follow the Fed fund rate, the Fed rate. Okay, the Fed rate is what the bankers basically, the Fed lends money to themselves. And that Fed rate has been increasing. And in commercial real estate, we talk in terms of bips, basis points. So 1 bip is basically 1% of 1 point. So when I say it's 100 bips, it's a 1% increase. So from this time last year, we're up 200, 250 bips. Is that correct, Jen? We're about 200 bips. 2%. We're going up probably 75 bips or 0.75 or probably 100 bips next week. I mean, I don't need to tell you the stock market dipped 1,300 points yesterday. You guys just need to look at your 401ks and say, you know, hey, I'm poor now. I'm poor again, right? Because your 401ks aren't worth anything. And it did a little bit of a dead cat bounce. It did about a 30 point rise today, right? That's an indicator, you know, anytime the stock market dips that quickly, it's something Wall Street didn't expect. Wall Street was expecting inflation to kind of die down a little bit, but after that report that we're still at 8.2%, that is high. That indicates that the federal government will do some more tightening and will raise interest rates. So those kind of things is what we kind of follow in the market, right? We also follow PPI. I look at foreign exchange rates, specifically the yen and the German Deutsche Mark. Our American dollar is stronger. I said we have a virtual assistant in the Philippines, and I used to pay her, when we started paying her, the exchange rate was 48 pesos per dollar. Now it's 56, 57. So our dollar is getting stronger in other markets. When it gets stronger, it gets more difficult for people to buy American products. Now saying that, next slide. In commercial real estate, we really focus on 3 asset classes: office, industrial, multifamily. Office, like I said, people are still coming down, still trying to occupy the offices. They have increased vacancy rates. The vacancy rate is how much space inside of a building is empty. So normal vacancy rates, you know, when me and CCIM are both, me and Union are both CCIMs. So if you ever deal with a commercial realtor, if they have CCIM, listen to what they say because they know what the hell they're talking about. If they don't, they're making it up, but they make it so they sound like they know what they're talking about. But vacancy rates usually are 7-8%. I'm seeing vacancy rates in Stone Oak, that area 20%. So 20% of a building is vacant, right? And even my building, we office out of the One Forum building at that big high rise that looks at downtown. And all the floors aren't completely occupied yet. They're not completely occupied. So office has been traditionally down. I get a lot of buyers that sell their offices in California and wanting to come to the Texas market. The next one we follow is multifamily. Multifamily is hot, 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 but it's crazy hot. It's stupid hot. People are buying prices for apartments right now that are crazy, out of market, will never make sense. You know, we follow a thing called a cap rate. The capitalization rate is basically the net operating income. If you write anything down on your slide, I have it on my slide here. It's net operating income divided by sales price. Okay, that is a cap rate. So your cap rates traditionally, when we learned our CCIM, and real estate is different than the stock market. Real estate, you want to buy high and sell low. Stock markets, you want to buy low and sell high. Real estate, it's opposite. It's an inverse relationship. So cap rates, when we were learning to do CCIM, cap rates are 7%, always making 7%, always making 8%. Now cap rates, I see deals on cap rates for multifamilies at 4%. I'm seeing guys do crazy deals at 4%. So what they're basically betting on is the price of that apartment complex will increase over time so that they can get the return, or they're going to come in and get out. We had a lot of talk about the housing market here in San Antonio, how it's still going. But there was a story in the Express News, I don't know if you guys caught it, 47 to 49% of the homes bought in San Antonio were from investors. These guys are coming in, they're turning these things into Airbnbs, or they're leasing them out, right? They're not homeowners. I'll get more about what that means. So multifamily hot, if you guys own an apartment complex, put it on the market. This is the best time you'll ever sell it. You'll probably get 10,000 people call you, probably 11,000 people from Pakistan call you that want to pay you $1. They'll want to buy your property. So multifamily is hot, especially in this market. Rents are increasing. And then the other one we follow is industrial. San Antonio, we're in what's called the Golden Nacho. So it's a trade relationship between San Antonio, Houston, and Monterrey, Mexico. Monterrey, that if you draw a triangle, that's what we call the Golden Nacho. And that develops such economic impact on a regional area. It's bigger than the GDP of some countries. It's big. They manufacture in Mexico. They come to San Antonio, or they ship out through Houston, right? San Antonio, they come to San Antonio because we're 8 hours away from Monterrey, Mexico. And with the new USMCA Act, the old NAFTA, truck drivers have to get in their trucks and they have to get out 8 hours later. Well, 8 hours is conveniently located in San Antonio. And we're at the crossroads of 3 major highways. We've got a great rail system. So from here, they offload into a warehouse and then they deliver out. So that's industrial in San Antonio. It's very, very, very hot. There's another asset class called land, generally land. In my instance, I'm talking about commercial land. I'm not talking about residential lots. I'm talking about land. That generally is good too, but for a different reason. I'll get into that. Next slide. Okay, next slide. Next slide. What we're going to talk about?
I can tell you just made a slide earlier.
I just made these slides. San Antonio is a hot market, and I want to talk about housing, why housing and land is a hot market. San Antonio just floated a $150 million bond to do affordable housing. Affordable housing, as we've seen on Yin Yang slides, it's very much in demand, right? Very much. When you do affordable housing, they do it on something called AMI, average median income. Average median income in San Antonio for a family per person is $17,000, which is low. But for a family, we're crawling into like the $65,000 range. So when you're looking at affordable housing, it's always a percentage of that. That's the target, right? We want to sell an affordable housing price at 50% of AMI, so 50% of $67,000. That's the target market, what you're looking for, right? San Antonio is a story of 2 segregated cities. It's very true. The north end of San Antonio, very affluent. The southern end of San Antonio, not so affluent, right? I saw a study once that 70% of the workers on the south side of San Antonio actually live on the north side of San Antonio. And there's a lot of different reasons why that's happened, right? Part of it is San Antonio on the southern end has so many non-taxable assets. If you look at what was down there, Brooks Air Force Base, Lackland Air Force Base, now the missions, all the universities, Texas A&M, those are traditional large economic generators, but the whole systems suck. They totally suck down there. And I don't need to tell anybody anything like that. I mean, I know when residential guys sell homes, you guys are saying, you guys are asking, where are the nice schools, right? They're asking you where the nice schools are. We look at the south side of San Antonio, there are not very many schools. And I grew up down the south side, so I can say San Antonio. So it's all right for me, the south side anyway. But what's resulting of this, because development is so difficult on the north end of San Antonio, because you've got a lot of different things up there. You've got the aquifer you got to worry about. If you live over by where I live, I-10, 1604 area, you've got golden cheek warbler birds. You know, these birds that come in and they fly onto people's properties and they can't get rid of them. You have karst formations, and then not only the NIMBY aspect, right? Not in my backyard. Guys up there, you got some of the highest homes in that market area, highest incomes. They don't want affordable housing next to them. They don't want a trailer park next to them. They don't want anything like that. So that kind of stuff is forcing development to the south side, and then to the outer cities. 69% of development in San Antonio is happening outside the city of San Antonio for many different reasons. Taxes are a huge deal, right? The other part is the ease to develop out there in that market is a lot easier than it is to develop inside San Antonio. I used to be the chairman of the planning commission, and I would sign off on plats. The last plat I signed off on was topped off, which was kind of cool. But I used to sign on subdivisions that were 400 or 500 unit subdivisions that would not be put up for 4 or 5 years. It took that long to kind of build a subdivision and get it going. All the entitlements related to that. But on the northern end, there's so many entitlements that are going on up there. And then you've got tree canopies to worry about, like not so many trees you can't chop down. There are a lot of people back in the early 2000s and 90s when they took large tracts of land, before they sold it to developers, they went in and they scraped off all the trees so the developers wouldn't have any problems with the trees. And then they would be able to sell those properties for a lot more. So housing is a big deal. I spoke with the San Antonio chief housing officer. I had coffee with him about 2 days ago. They're going to do land banking. Now, what's land banking? Land banking is basically a governmental institution, whether it's a city, it's a county, sometimes school districts. They buy land that's not yet developed for the purpose of selling it to developers so that they can build things that they need on it. And now the focus is housing units. You wonder why your taxes are so high, because a lot of these deals that are getting done, these land bank deals, if they finally get developers to build things, they get into relationships called PFCs, Public Facility Corporation. And what these are is basically a developer buys a piece of land. He wants to develop it, but the taxes are going to be crazy. So what's the solution to that? He takes the land, he donates it to a nonprofit, in this case, the San Antonio Housing Trust. The San Antonio Housing Trust physically has a nonprofit association, not taxed by the city. Remember I told you about the south side, all these areas that were not taxable, and it's just not taxable. Not taxable. Well, they don't have to pay taxes on this. They lease it back to the developer for $1, right? The developer develops it, and Yin Yang can tell you on a discount cash flow sheet, when you figure out the return on a piece of property, when you take out the tax component, the return on that is huge, big. So finally, those guys, they package those deals up and they sell them to investors who buy them, right? And it's because they don't have to pay property tax. And the promise is, I've done lots of deals where I've had to go talk to politicians and trying to get zoning changes. And the sell is, hey, let us do this zoning change. We're going to put this, we're going to put this butcher shop or this slaughter yard next to this residential area, but we're going to bring 5 jobs to this community, and they're going to pay $15 an hour. And the median income in this neighborhood is 12. People make $12. And the councilman was like, yeah, sure, that sounds good. Okay, stamp approved. Right? So those are the kind of deals that get done just to make that economic generation. But the bad side of that is, well, who pays the taxes at that point? The property owners pay the taxes, right? But I'm talking bad about my industry. I don't want to do that. I want you guys to go out and buy property. What I'm seeing right now in the market, in our range, the small owner-occupied guys, the guys that have the dream of one day owning my own building, building my own retail spot, they're kind of stepping back. They're waiting to see what interest rates are doing. And I'm here to tell you, interest rates are only going to go up. And when they do retreat, it'll be a while before they retreat. They may never retreat to where they were before. They may never do that. But they're putting off projects. When the Fed increased their interest rate 100 bips or 1 percentage point in July, we lost 3 deals with guys just saying, well, we're gonna back off and stay off these deals because interest rates are going up. We want to see what's going to go on. Which kind of sucked because that was my Christmas money. So we're staying here. We're staying in San Antonio. We're not traveling anywhere. So what I'm seeing, there's really 3 levels of buyers in my world, right? They're the pension fund guys and the sovereign funds. These guys are investing dollars for the pension people, and they're investing money for the king of Abu Dhabi or whoever, right? So those guys are looking for large deals. They're usually needing to deploy billions of dollars. So they're looking at real estate because real estate is such a hedge for inflation. So they're crawling, and they're usually buying $100, $200 million properties. Well, now they're trolling down in the $50 million range, right? And then, so those guys are pressing down on the real estate investment trust. These guys are private people that raise funds and they go out and buy buildings, right? And they're usually trolling in that $20 to $50 million range. Well, because they're being pressed by the pension fund guys, now they're getting pressed. Now they're pressing on the small investors. And these are the doctors and the guys that are going buying buildings, anywhere from small eightplexes upwards to retail centers. But now because their cost of capital is going up, they're not doing it. They're getting beat out. Why? Because the pension guys, they only need to return 1% every year. Their cost of capital is nothing. They're getting all those dues from all the people in the union or whatever it is, or oil money, and they're investing it in real estate, that their borrowing capacity is huge, and they don't have to spend any money to borrow money, you know? If they're beating inflation, it's like, oh, good job, get your $1 million bonus, go on, you know? And then the real estate guys who are borrowing money from other institutions are telling those institutions, hey, give us your money, we'll return you 7%, we'll return you 8%. Well, in order to return 7 or 8%, they got to make 9 or 10% on the deal, and they're not doing that because they're getting paid by the guys that are only borrowing money at 1%. Now, the private guy who's coming in there now, he's a private investor. His metrics are a lot higher, right? He's going to be borrowing money at 5, 6, 7. If it's investment grade, it's probably quite a bit, and it's a lot riskier. You can't get an SBA loan on investment property, but there's ways to do it. I'll tell you how to do it just without Jennifer in the room. But they're in there and they're doing those deals. So their return rate's got to be 17. I've seen some as high as 20%. They need to risk that kind of money to get the return that they need so they can get their capital back. So those guys are so this is this ripple effect, right? The big guys are eating the middle guys are eating the small guys, and it's really interesting being on my end watching all that kind of stuff. I told this story to Joy, but I got chewed out by a Chinese hedge fund manager about 3 months ago, about 6 months ago. I was selling a medical office building in Stone Oak, a small building, $5 million deal. And the Chinese hedge fund manager raised about $300 million. So she needed to buy $300 million worth of real estate. So she calls me on the phone and I'm telling her, why are you buying a $5 million building? You tell me $5 million buildings, you got to spend $300 million. People every month, they're paying money. They're paying interest payments to your investors every month. So they've got to deploy that capital. So she says, oh, you're so stupid. I'm sorry if I'm using the accent, You're so stupid. You don't know nothing. You crazy, man. You crazy. This is no 5 cap. This is 7 cap. But I send you off. I said, okay, no problem. Yeah, send me off. No big deal. So she sent me, real estate agents, we get called everything. And I'm like, yeah, okay, as long as you send me an offer, call me whatever you want, right? So she sends me an offer and I look at the deal and it's less than what we wanted. But then I had 2 other offers that came in the door. Literally in the phone, it was like, hey, we're going to send you a written offer for this. And it was more, and it was other competing real estate investment trusts. So I called back the Chinese lady and said, oh, so sorry, your deal, you're too low. And she said, what? I said, yeah, too low. And I hung up on her. And she called me back and she said, what do you mean too low? I said, you're too low. And I hung up on her. But we can do that kind of thing. We talk to these guys all over the world. But that's what we're kind of seeing in our world right now in the commercial real estate world. I would say if you're looking for opportunities, like where do I go in San Antonio to buy land? Or where do I go? Buy land. I would look on the south side of San Antonio, and then I would look in those outer communities. We look at the world in terms of primary markets. Those are big cities, San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, and even Austin now can be considered a primary market. Then we look at secondary markets. Investors go to secondary markets. This would be places like New Braunfels, Waco, Midland, Odessa. People are starting to look now in tertiary markets or third markets or even in quaternary markets. So tertiary market would be like Bernie or Seguin or Castroville. Seguin right now is a very hot market. If you guys can find stuff in Seguin, that'd be great because it's a big industrial hub. There's a lot of folks living in the Seguin market and it has easy access to Austin. So people are looking in that market. On the south side, I would start looking around the nodes of like South Crescent Street and Southwest Military, Southeast Military, that area. Then I would look over by South Park Mall, that area. And then there's a real sleeper in here, and this is my personal bet, is the Quintana neighborhood. The Quintana neighborhood is over there by Port San Antonio. Now, why these areas and why not all the other? The other areas are hot too. Well, these areas, first the Quintana, because it's the port. The port has got a big cyber presence, but they're talking about opening the gates and opening more access into the surrounding markets. So when that happens, they'll open the gates so people can drive on and off to the port. So that will increase demand for housing. Because remember those people I was telling you about, the guys that are traveling from north side of San Antonio trying to get into the southern markets. And on the southern markets, because we have public schools, the really bad public schools, there's been a real rise of charter schools, and Joy represents some charter schools. And they're going gangbusters down the south side to solve this education problem. So if you could find tracks near the Quintana, that would be good. I would look out towards like St. Hedgewick, Lavernia, that area. Those markets are really good for land. I would buy those out there. And then the south side, generally the south side, the nodes of the South Presa and there. And then I would look, this is a selfish plug, but I would look at Pecan Valley and East South Cross. That area right there is about to take off. The VA is just taking on an old abandoned Walmart, so they're going to put another clinic facility down there. When that happens, that will shift medical work in that neighborhood to that market, so people will come to that market. So I would look at those areas if you were looking for opportunities. You know, if you wanted to go door knocking or hire a realtor to go knock doors for you, you know, hey, can you go see if these people will sell their homes or they're going to sell their property? Those are the market areas I would look at. Those are the opportunities right now. Because I think, I'm telling you right now, if you're looking in Bernie, that's great. That market's already, you should have been in Bernie 2 years ago. You should have been in Helotes 3 years ago. You know, you should have been in New Braunfels 10 years ago. I get calls all the time from people. They call me, hey, I really want to be in the Austin market. I want to be in the Helotes market. And those markets are already, you're not going to find deals in those markets. It's those sleeper markets. If your idea is to land bank, buy land, wait for it to appreciate, right? And then it will eventually sell. Those are the markets that have a bunch of appreciation. You know, Bernie, I mean, it's already kind of, you know, that space in between Bernie and San Antonio, like the Fair Oaks region, still pretty good, but I wouldn't consider it hot. You're not going to get super hot deals in that market. I think those southern markets is where you're looking for. And then, of course, running out towards Castroville. I don't know if any of you guys have been out to Castroville yesterday. It's like part of San Antonio. It's like it's West San Antonio. It's crazy out there. So I would look for those markets. Forget about buying anything near the Pearl. Forget about buying anything in those markets. Those things are already consumed, and you're not going to be able to do anything. And if it is there, you got to wonder, why is it there, right? Why is this property never sold, right? I mean, you're not the first smart person that found a deal down on the Pearl. There's a reason why that hasn't sold, right? Good. So that's all I got, and I'm done with my slides. That's the truth. That's the truth about real estate. Hang on to your money, man. They're big deals, I'm telling you.
How about the Hill Country?
Well, the Hill Country is always hot. It's always been a hot market. The Hill Country's been hot, you know. But they're starting to do things like, I know Kerrville is starting to institute. And I was listening to the county judge debate today. Judge Sakai and Commissioner Berry were having a debate at the Real Estate Council, and they were talking about county policies and how they were different, how they were alike. And they talked about Kerrville. Kerrville's going to start restricting the number of multifamily or number of housing units to go out in Kerrville. I don't know why they're going to do it. Not Kerrville, I'm sorry, Kerr County. Kerr County, which is on the other side of Bernie, right? It's kind of like touching it. But you see a lot of those in those outer markets. Those guys, they don't want a lot of growth out in their market. They're very hesitant to have that kind of stuff. You know, so they don't want a lot of those folks to come out there. So they're very hesitant about allowing that kind of stuff. I mean, you know, out there it's different struggles. It's water, finding water to where you need it, high-speed internet. I mean, you can't do work today without internet. I don't know how anybody can get work done without internet. But those markets, I mean, if you can find them, they're good. They're good markets. But, I mean, realize you're going out to that market not really to get a deal. You're going out there because you want to live there, right? I mean, there are no deals on that market. I don't think there are. I could be wrong. Okay, is that it?
Thank you.
All right.
No, I had a question about the
Yeah.
commercial real estate. With people working from home, how has the commercial real estate landscape changed?
Well, it goes back. I always tell people this, like the caveman days, right? I mean, why are human beings the pinnacle species on the planet? Why do we kick the shit out of every species out there? Why? Because when cavemen first came out of the caves, they collaborated in hunting, right? Hey, we're gonna go hunt that antelope over there. You go left, you go right, I'll go in the middle, and we'll attack that count. And so they collaborated. In today's business environment, to be competitive, you have to do collaboration, and it's really hard to collaborate when people are apart from one another. So CEOs, I read a study in the Wall Street Journal about this. They want people to come back to work because they see the detriment not only in the competition for their companies, but in the creation and the ideation that happens, right? Even in my own office, I mean, we have 3 people in an office meant for 2 people, you know, but we collaborate every day, bumping ideas off of each other. But the real big corporations, they're not quite back into, because they're engaged in risk mitigation, right? They're worried about, well, if we have employees come in and they get COVID, they won't sue the company, right? It's that vacancy rate I was telling you about, right? The vacancies in the office complexes are still high, right? I mean, they're desperate trying to lease those spaces out. Retail's come raging back. People want to shop again. How it's changed in the restaurant world, this is Union's world. But now people are telling me, hey, I want a restaurant that has to have a drive-through. Before there was really the thing with a drive-through, but drive-throughs add what, 28-40% of revenue to the bottom line of a restaurant. So now they're looking at drive-throughs and things like that. So that's how kind of the pandemic changed. That's how it's changed the office complexes. You'll find deals in the office complex, but what you have to worry about, and this is why we have such high inflation, the federal government pumps so much money into the economy that it unnaturally extended the life of some of these tenants that would have not survived inside of spaces, right? Because the government, through its PPP loans, basically gave you money so that you could pay your rent, and then you stayed open, and you might have not had a business model that worked. So that's what we're seeing. I mean, all that money getting poured into the economy, we're due for a lot of inflation. It's scary. You know? Yeah. You asked me a question? Really?
No, I try to add something on it.
There you go.
Yeah.
The office building, a lot of vacancy right now get repurposed. Office building right now becomes school.
Yeah.
A lot of retail space become gym.
Mhm.
This is coming up. This is so many things to get repurposed. It's
Yeah,
become
yeah.
a trend. Repurposed.
Yeah.
This one I have to say.
Sure. Also, you have to be aware of local ordinances and laws. They're going through a process right now where they're trying to make older office buildings more energy efficient. They're gonna force property owners to comply to that right now. It has to do with the climate action plan that the mayor has put in place, and he wants to make San Antonio more of a green city. So what he wants to do is force property owners to green up their spaces, so put more energy efficient systems and that stuff. But that's a big cost to retrofit buildings. And I've seen like big box retailers like Walmart's, they get repurposed as like a public storage type stuff, right? I see that kind of stuff. I really haven't seen the office buildings get turned into like apartments because there's a lot more internal stuff that needs to go inside of an office building to make it ready for habitation, you know. But I have seen a lot of repurposing of buildings and things like that.
How about hotels turning into apartments?
Yeah, that's in the trend.
I've seen like the week-long ones, the ones that have the kitchenettes in them, even assisted livings. I've seen some of them turn into assisted livings. And there's some people that try to repurpose their hotels that might have like a kitchenette in it, a little bar area. They might try to repurpose it to assisted living or multifamily. Yeah, there's been some of that going on. But sometimes, this sounds really bad, it's a lot easier to tear down a building and start over than try to redo it all again. You know, there's a lot of guys that like to save these old buildings, and I'm like, why do you want to save the old building? All it's got all this character. Well, that's great. You're going to pay about 1.5 times more than you normally would, and then you've got all kinds of issues you're working with when you're trying to do something when you want to redevelop a building. But there's some people that do a lot of that. Wow. Okay. Well, I don't have any more slides. So.
Well, thank you, Rob.
All right.
Okay, thank you so much, our excellent speakers, Yan, Jennifer, and Rob. Now, for the next part of the program tonight,
Okay, well, actually,
Mr. G.
yeah, well, first of all, I want to recognize a very important sponsor that we have here.
There you go.
So I think everybody knows we're throwing together the Adobe Throwdown is coming. It's going to be October 23rd, and one of the very first sponsors of the Adobe Throwdown is right here, Mr. Brian Head from Head Start Equity, and so Brian, come on up here. Yep, I'm going to embarrass you. Can you tell us a little bit about Head Start Equity and the work, also the work that you do for the community?
He's over there, he won't hear me, okay. Because I invest in multifamily, which you said not to do right now. Yeah, so I have a private equity firm. We primarily purchase multifamily buildings here locally in San Antonio. And some of the other areas too, like Austin, San Marcos, Dallas, some of those different areas. So yeah, that's really about it.
And then I know that you work with several charities, right?
Yeah, which one? Oh yeah. So that's a recent one. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I can tell my story. Right? Okay. All right. So I do work with a breast cancer research foundation company out of New York. So my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer back in 2018. Fortunately, she's cancer-free now and everything. But that really changed our perspective on life and what we were doing and why we're doing things. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm doing the multifamily business that I'm doing now. I actually used to work at USAA. I left actually just in May of this year. I was there almost 25 years. So to ramp up and do this multifamily real estate investing full time, because I knew that would allow me to scale and grow the business faster. I was primarily doing single family properties prior to that. And my goal is to get my wife out of her corporate job. That's why I'm doing it. So she can spend more time with the family and everything. So we're partnering with the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. I actually just got my donation page today, actually. So, but yes. Thank you.
All right, so I think, why don't we do a little bit of membership member appreciation. So who here are new PACC CTR members? So we have Shalee.
Oh, me?
Yep. And let's see, who else? Jennifer also joined recently. Joy, when did you join?
4 months ago.
And then, of course, Yen is a business member that joined the OUA certificate.
Yes.
That's sorry about that. I keep forgetting. And then I know Renee and Helen upgraded their membership to a business membership. Do we have any business members here that we need to
Chanel is a business number 2, right? Individual.
Okay. So.
Okay. Yeah. Talk about the Adobe Throwdown first.
Okay.
All
right.
I'll do the downstairs.
Okay, I think everybody here has seen the ads for Adobe Throwdown. It's on October 23rd. Sunday over at the Short Civic Center. So what it is basically a full day of celebrating Filipino culture. It's food, it's music, and dance. So our highlight is the competition, the food competition between what we try to get the best Filipino restaurants to compete to have for the title of the best adobo in San Antonio. And one of the chefs here is also competing. So Angelica Guzman from Kaina will be one of the competitors. She's an official competitor. She'll be one of the 8. So it's only 8. So not only is it for professionals, we also have an amateur cooking competition. So if you know how to make adobo, then you should join. All right. So because you could win cash and prizes. The first place is $250 plus trophy. Second place is $150 plus trophy. Third place is $75 plus trophy. The other competition we have is the ube dessert competition, and that's open. So if you know how to make ube, if you know how to make ube cheesecake or ube pandesal, please go ahead and enter. It's $250 first prize plus trophy, $150 second place plus trophy, and $75 third place plus trophy. We also have several singers that are going to be here. Sarah Posadas is going to be there. Josie is going to be there. We have Sophie Band is going to be there, right? We have for dance. We have Cadillagan is going to be there. We have a hip hop group from UTSA that's going to be there. So there's going to be music. There's going to be live music, and I think it's still on. I think my wife is still going to do one of the ballroom dances. But of course, I am not going to be the one. I danced one time, and that was during the 25th wedding anniversary, and I retired. So, okay. So, by the way, all tickets, you buy tickets online, or you can buy them here. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
I'd like to call on our region chair. She's here right now, Dr. Danette Bloom. Hello. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good, much better. So let's do that again. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. All right. Sorry, I was a little bit late. I have to situate my 5th grade Singapore math. I don't know if you have heard of that, but it's a different way of doing math. But thank you so much. I learned a lot from the sharing. My gosh, that's a wealth of information. Ate Yoli will talk about TOFSA, and we're pretty much booked for that, right? So, but there are opportunities we're creating. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's our gala that's sponsored by the Philippine American PACC-CTR, Philippine American Chamber of Commerce, Central Texas region. Now, it used to be that it's TOFSA. It stands for the Outstanding Filipino American at San Antonio, and where we honor Filipinos who have contributed much to the society, specifically San Antonio. Now, it has actually, for this year, it has morphed into a much bigger thing because there are so many things to celebrate. One is the TOFSA, but also we are also celebrating the Baguio City. Who has been to Baguio or have heard of Baguio? Yes, it's the summer capital of the Philippines, not United States, not Texas. So that's like very, very nice city. Now we're partnering with San Antonio. We're having a Friendship City agreement. So the actual signing of the Memorandum of Understanding will take place during that gala. And the third one is that we will be celebrating the success of the Filipino community, mostly headed by Colonel Noni Cabana, who's part of our chamber, in terms of moving forward the naming of a Navy ship for a Filipino Medal of Honor, a U.S. Navy who died. He's dead now, but he actually rescued other Navy who were on a ship when there was a fire. So he was like the only Medal of Honor, if I read it correctly, if I remember it correctly, who actually got that honor in peacetime. So after 18 months of pushing and lobbying, and we all wrote letters and supported and advertised about this, the U.S. Navy said, yes, we're going to name a ship after a Filipino. So that's the USS Telesfora Trinidad. So all those three, and of course, there's actually a fourth one because October is the Filipino Heritage Month. So we're gonna celebrate ourselves. And thanks, Yin. I know you're coming to celebrate us. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say, that long story, is that we would like to create a souvenir program because of all these things that are happening. I think it's but right to create a souvenir program. So if you want your business to be in that program, it's very cheap. It's one whole page at A4, 100, and half a page is 50. So that will be given out, and we will give you, of course, a copy of that. And there will also be copies that will be for sale at the event. But that's an opportunity for you to have your business visible, or your just family, or to just purely say congratulations, or Mabuhay Pilipinas, and Mabuhay Telesfora Trinidad, and so on and so forth. So thank you so much.
The TOFSA is the Outstanding Filipino Americans in San Antonio. This will be our second one. The first one was in 2019, right? The mayor was one of the awardees. There were 6 awardees then. Mayor Nurnberg, Attorney Art Hall. These 6 people had great impact in the community. This time we chose 6, 5 individuals actually, and 1 business. Okay, the 2022 awardees are Dr. Dante Escalante, Dr. Salvador Bailan, Colonel Noli Cabana, Dr. Melinda Rodriguez, the better half of our rock here, and then Pastor Joe Dehesa of Harvest City Church, and the Lifetime Business Award goes to Sare Sare Restaurant, Bakery, and Market. They've been around here in San Antonio since 1995, so they deserve it.
Yeah. So if you want to say congratulations to those individuals or that entity, please do so. We have the souvenir program, but also there would be opportunity for displays outside the gala. So there will be tables and so on and so forth. So
or vendor
for
tables.
exhibits. So that will be, we were fully booked. I think we were joking that we may have to stand for the whole event just because people are.
We will be standing already at the
I think there's kitchen seating.
The hotel is fully booked. There's just so much interest, and I was just telling PNC that they're going to sponsor too, so make it because for the sponsorship it comes with the tables with the guests. So,
but anyhow, I hope you would celebrate with us.
yes, please, and especially with the souvenir program, that will be huge. She's Madam Bloom is the Madam Chair is the one in charge of that. So we'll let you know so you can advertise your businesses. Right? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. We would like to thank everyone for coming. Thank you so much. We do this networking every month.
Yep.
So the next
It's the
one
second
will be-
Wednesday. Yeah, second Wednesday of the month. We're still organizing it.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna. That was another one, right? Oh.
Yeah.
Finalize that.
Yeah, we're still finalizing that.
Yeah. So next month.
Potentially, because we know that when you are at the retirement age, you may have parents or grandparents or friends. It's very hard to navigate Medicare and to know what are your rights and how to go about with things. And there are a lot of resources. One example I learned is that you have to enroll in it, otherwise you keep on paying. Some of those things. So we are hoping to invite one of our networking events expert on that, so that we can kind of explore and you can ask questions. So because I have a national project among Filipino Americans. Even doctors are saying like, I attended the Medicare one, like, I'm in the healthcare system and it's like way over my head. So how much more for the lay person? So we're hoping that we could provide that service for you.
Yeah, it's the second Wednesday of October.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Second Wednesday.
Medicare. And of course, the third week of October 21st is the gala, the Toxa Gala. And October 23rd is the Adobo Throwdown. So I hope everyone can attend.
Yeah, by the way, so if anybody wants tickets, we're selling them right now. Also, if anybody's interested in membership for the PACC, we can take your membership right now. So Billy's right there. All right, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Let's take photos.
Yep.
Three of us.
All right, so let's take a picture. Yeah, go backstage.
Name like Rob's Angels.
There you go.
We'll probably do this.
There you go. One more. One, two. So Rob, Sam. Thank you so much.
Do you have a card that I can use? I have a digital card. How about a card? Yes. Almost out loud too.
Okay.
210-78-78-76. What's wrong with it? Well, I got a minor surgery, so they didn't want me to move it after, but they take it off one Friday. Oh, okay. Oh, you're gonna miss it. Promises? Oh, really? Okay. Wait, are you working at your own pharmacy or? No, I just work in the hospital. Oh, okay. We're asking something about it. I have a side business and then when I asked for forgiveness, okay, it was forgiven. Yeah. It's just like FDA. Okay. only it's part of the affordable care stuff.
So I just wanted to introduce myself. My name's Alex. Hi. Hey, nice to meet you. Oh yes, no, that's fine. That's fine. I actually own a credit repair company, so yeah. So if you or anybody you know needs credit help, we specialize in personal and business.
Oh, okay. Do you do the educational classes?
So we do offer credit education as well. Yeah. So we actually love to partner with other people as far as financial education, realtors, loan officers, title companies, retirement people, our fields, and yeah, just do our part as far as financial education and credit management. So,
When is the next class? I want to.
So I'm actually working with several different affiliates right now. We're planning one of them, a first-time homebuyer presentation. That's scheduled towards the end of October, and then I'm working with a retirement affiliate for life insurance. We're also scheduling that around probably November, the early part of November. So, but yeah, just check our website or actually our Facebook page, and it should be on our website up soon. So, yeah, appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
Are you Filipino? Yeah, Filipino. Yeah, that's so pretty. Yeah, but that's only information I know about. I got forget. So I just like, okay, because they keep sending me the email, and then that's okay. I just applied, and then yeah, it's just a small amount. But do I ever get on it?
Yes.
Yes.
You may. It's always, you may always.
Yeah, I thought this was good stuff.
Yeah, maybe just, maybe just kind of just verify some, but if you've been forgiven, that's a big plus. Because, part of the things that's what they do before they forgive you, they do their due diligence, make sure that they really could forgive you.
Yeah.
So if it comes to a situation that they say, oh, really no, but you can always argue, well, you did forgive me.
Yeah.
But it's always just good to have all your documentation. I know a lot of people are, especially politicians, they're being audited or making sure that the right people are forgiven. But just as long as you have a documentation.
But what PACC are you?
You bank with PACC?
I saw that somewhere. Like,
Oh, we have one there. We have by Northwoods. HEB.
Yeah. We have maybe that's why.
One at the Vineyard. Vineyard, the Whole Foods.
Yeah.
There's another one. I was Speedsy got here last year. They acquired DBA. I'm not sure if you heard of them. So I was with DBA before. So now
So you've been working with the bank.
I've been with PNC for 5 years. I've been in banking for
So young.
Yeah, but how about you? How long have you been in?
10 years.
Are you also active now?
Yeah, but I want to know she's promoting blood, giving blood. Yeah, donate blood.
Donate blood.
She's very big with activities and sponsors, charities. You have kids?
I have two.
How old are they?
I have 18 and 14.
No way. 18 and 14? You never hold my kids? Is this because
It's nice to.
Nice to meet you.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Nice to meet you.
Y'all like eat chicken doing?
I gotta tell my wife. She may not know, but I'm gonna check it out again because I haven't, we don't go to Houston, that's the last thing, because one time, when we go to one of the Filipino stores and get something, she don't think about that. But I think if I tell her, hey, they've got, oh, really? They should be happy. That's cool. It was interesting anyway, but that's something we're finding out, right?
Let me move. Are they still live?
Yeah, no, I know.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I'm sure that she has her husband is
Yes. And then I was like, she's already a happy member. And then I met her and I was like, yeah, I'll take your picture. Okay.
And I'll take a picture of you in Angelica, or you can take a photo of us three. Okay. Okay. Thank you. No, no. That's great. Then we're gonna.
Say my name, Bessie.
There you go. This is the okay.